Sandbo, Sweden, USA, Roxbury official car. Grand. A warm welcome to the Great Smoky Valley. Scott Anderson, Gibson, Kansas, driving the battery-powered Corvette. He's 3 years old. Okay, now as we have one of the clowns on the side, we have coming in view the Smoky Valley High School Band, directed by Dan King. Smoky Valley High School, located here in Lindsborg, has been the first band right after the honor band when they have not been the honor band. We try to share that first position. Smoky Valley High School with the traditional orange and black of the Vikings. Vikings were very successful last evening. I think it surprised the people, the Minneapolis Kings. Glad to have Dan King back as a healthy director. We have been worried about his health recently, and we're glad to see that he's back in this parade. Dan King is one of those that has bicycles parked at the south end of the parade so he can get into several units, go back through the alleys and get on the next unit.
And his daughter, Connie King, is helping and filling in for Dan during his illness. Right.
And there's Connie now by the side of the band. Smoky Valley High School Band, directed by Dan King. Those are the same uniforms as the band had a few years back. There was quite an effort to have them in uniform, band uniform, when the King of Sweden came in 1976, and then with just the change of the front when the name of the high school was changed from Lindsborg High School with the merger of the Marquette High School and the Lindsborg High School to make the Smoky Valley High School. They still have the uniform, but with the new SBHS. Okay, now we have the Smoky Valley High School homecoming queen candidates, Susan Allsett, Sarah Dawson, and Camille Bates.
And in view now the future Vikings at Jolly Junction.
Jolly Junction, child care, future Viking band.
Colette King, and who are some of the other people here, John, with the kids, Jolly Junction? Anyway, they are the future Vikings indeed, aren't they?
And I think that it's essential to know that Julie Howney has taken over the tradition that Patty Carstead has had in preparing the Sodstrom children for their folk dancing, and we always appreciate what they do in the school systems. Okay, now
we have Cinder Helga.
Cinder Helga. Viking Auto Parts Chairman Lee Thriftway, William Cassinius, the Citry Shop, Linda Mers, CPA, Great Lanes, Vernon Mers, the Old Mill, and Laura May's Cottage produced this. Cinder Helga. And I didn't know that dollar horses could actually pull floats like that one.
I didn't either, John.
Okay,
there's a lot about dollar horses I don't know, obviously.
The Kansas Chieftains, Pontiac Car Club. Pontiac Car Clubs from all over Kansas. Number of Pontiacs. This first one was the Oakland Club. And we'll have a number of the Pontiacs. We have had a number of the car clubs that have taken part in this parade, Mustang clubs and many of the other clubs, so it gives us the vehicles back in time also. Sure.
I want to mention our sponsors again for today's broadcast. They are the Farmers State Bank of Lindsborg, your full-service bank serving the Great Smoky Valley and its residents for over 100 years, member FDIC. Also, the Anderson Hayes Funeral Home, the Courtyard Bakery, and Lundstrom's Coffee and Gourmet Foods, the Swedish Country Inn, Hanson Clothing, the Lindsborg Pizza Hut, and the Lindsborg News-Record. We thank all of our sponsors for making today's broadcast possible. And this year we have added some new technology with television, and we hope that those of you who are not here in person are enjoying this telecast live via television on local cable channel 4, and we will incidentally be rebroadcasting the parade, so those of you who are in the parade and want to see yourselves can have a good time doing that.
Does Jerry Davies have a special guest with us now? We are not sure about the communication here with the downstairs area. We think at some point here we have a special guest brought in by Jerry Davies. We'll bring him on as soon as he gives us a signal. Okay, next coming up after the Kansas Chieftains Pontiac Car Club, we will be having Marvin Johnson in a 1929 Model A. And then the Marquette Junior High Band, Tom Holmquist, director. The Marquette Junior High School Band, Tom Holmquist is the director. Svensk College alumnus, by the way.
John, we were mentioning a lot of the groups from outside. There are a lot of local homegrown groups, one of them being the Lindsborg Swedish folk dancers who will be performing, and the Lindsborg Folk Dance Loud, which is the adult group. And
the folk dancers, both old and young, are one reason I think that we have been able to preserve this part of the tradition, the folk dancing part of the tradition. We do enjoy having the groups from Sweden to help us learn new dances in the various groups, and I think that is one of the contemporary cultural ties in folk dancing.
And we did mention this is the Marquette Junior High Band.
Yes, right. Tom Holmquist, director. And then the float. Once upon a time, there were no dollar horses. Once upon a time, in the great Smoky Valley, there were no dollar horses.
I can't imagine that.
No. That's true. It was at a Hyllningsfest time here about 25 years ago when some of the art students first thought of making dollar horses and putting names on them. There were always imports from Sweden, but homebrew dollar horses, of course, are not all that long back in history. The float committee people, the Hemsloyd, the chairman, Barry Woods, Racket Shop, John C. Magnuson Chartered, Swedish American Insurance, Main Street Toys, and the Business Advisory Services.
And these are the Max Whirlers in view now. And they're from the McPherson YMCA. Second year in existence, affiliated with the McPherson YMCA.
Did we miss the Elmo, the parade clown?
Dennis McClellan.
I did. From Baldwin City, Kansas. He's appeared in over 100 parades in Kansas. Okay, after we have the Max Whirlers, the Baton Whirlers, the First YMCA, we have the El Dorado High School Band, Paul Howe and John Templin, directors. They will be giving a concert at noon in Swenson Park as soon as we're finished with the parade. El Dorado High School appearing for the first time in a Svensk Hyllningsfest parade. 12 o'clock noon, they'll be performing at North Park. Another special band here for 1989 Svensk Hyllningsfest.
With a Latin flavor.
John Templin are the directors. Band directors have the music department, and they put together a very fine unit here. From El Dorado. After the flag and the flag bearers, we have the percussion section up there in front. And the remainder of the band, the El Dorado High School Band. The El Dorado High School Band, we have the Wheat Whackers from the Midian Shrine of Wichita, Kansas.
The Shriners always add a lot of color to a parade.
They always have different ways of bringing mobile vehicles into a parade, and they must spend a lot of time creatively thinking up what they could do next to add to a parade. Of course, Gary Sandbo was one of the coaches in the Shrine-sponsored high school game, the Shrine Bowl, which was held this summer in Wichita, Kansas. The Shriners do a lot of good for burn victims and for youth, special charities. And this unit is the Wheat Whackers from Midian Shrine Club in Wichita, Kansas.
It's a tiny combine.
And then, after the Wheat Whackers, we have the float. Once upon a time in the Smoky Valley stood Old Main. There's a replica of Old Main. Merle Carlson is driving that one. A replica of Old Main, which of course was a 5-story building on the campus of Bethany College, held the entire college at one point. Merle's Market Chairman, Coronado Construction, Window Pane, Courtyard Bakery, Forsberg Gallery, Malm Real Estate, Flynn Plumbing, and Lundstrom's Coffee as the construction people for that float. Then the Andale High School Band, Jay Williams, director. Andale High School Band, Jay Williams, director. And then behind them, Lou, we have the Lindsborg Girl Scouts, Lindsborg, Kansas. Susan Higby, the leader for the Lindsborg Girl Scouts. After the Andale Band. And let's see if we can catch that float. Once upon a time, the Great Smoky Valley, the Hyllningsfest Queen was the Girl Scout. Those youth programs do a lot for the youth of the nation and our territory here. Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, 4-H. We could just go on and list the number of youth programs, and I think even recreation programs that it's fun to have the units preparing for their activities and for the parade.
And we do have Jerry and Diane on location.
How do you feel? I've never seen a more beautiful day for a parade.
I agree. It's just perfect.
Is this year's parade to you bigger than last year? I mean, 2 years ago or other times that I know you've been on the committees for many years.
Right. I've been on the committee about 6 years now. This seems a little bit bigger, and we're hoping to have more participation from the Bethany College activities, the homecoming activities, and they're part of the parade. So it should be a little bit bigger.
Diane, I'm going to let you talk to Bill Taylor. You're over there. Let me pass the microphone down to you.
Okay. It's a pleasure to have you here talking with us, Bill.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here. A great day, great crowd, and a lot of fun for everybody.
Congratulations to you, the entire committee. And we do want to mention that you start planning even before the last Hyllningsfest is over. Is that correct?
We've already had some inquiries, some Swedish groups for things that are going on for the 1991 festival, which will be the 50th year of the festival. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll be another great year then.
50th year in just 2 years. Well, we're having a little competition here. You think we should stop and hitch a ride?
Well, I don't know. It looks like they're having a lot of fun, too. I tell you, the parade route was a lot of fun, a lot of nice people along the way, and looks like a really nice crowd today.
Certainly does. And I want to mention also that there are a few other guys that are having a lot of fun here in the parade, and we met them last night, Jerry and I did, and they're great guys. Marty Hardy and John Pearson, I know, have talked to them also. That's the fellas in the association. They've been saying we are so excited about it. They're out mingling today in the crowd. And Frida, can you tell us more about the association?
Right. They're a group that are going to perform tonight at Presser Hall on Presser Hall stage. They were popular during the 60s and have made a revival again to perform with such songs as Cherish, Windy, Never My Love, and they're a fun group of guys, and they're excited about being here with the festivities.
Okay, well, we want to thank you for joining us. We'll be in the concert tonight. I met two of the guys, Diane and I did last night. When we were having dinner, we had a nice long chat with them. It's going to be a great show tonight. Okay, Di, you want to wrap it up?
We might also mention that the association, you might be interested in this, the association is really almost receiving more airplay on radio stations across our entire nation today than they did in the 60s. And they had all of those big hits. So remember, the acoustics, the comfort, absolutely perfect at Presser Auditorium, and tickets are still available.
Correct.
Okay, thank you both for being with us.
Thank you.
We're going to go back up to you, Lou and John, and get on with the parade some more. We'll also be talking, hopefully, with the Swedish General Consulate a little later on, and the King and Queen of Hyllningsfest. And there's Don Johnson, I think, or is that? Don Anderson. Excuse me, Don Anderson. What? Don Johnson, the movie star, right? Don? Mayor Anderson? Come on up here. I just called you Don Johnson. I made you a movie star.
I called more things than that.
I didn't recognize you, Don, with your beard on.
I understand.
Take a look right up there to the camera. We are doing something today, and you are the first, I guess, to be on cable as far as mayor of Lindsborg. Cable television today along with radio. How about that?
I understand that. I think it's a great honor, and I'm certainly glad you're being able to broadcast the 1989 Svensk Hyllningsfest parade for the people of the city of Lindsborg. As you know, there are many individuals that cannot make it downtown.
Well, we hope they're enjoying it. We hope they're watching the cable today and enjoying the whole thing. Now, what does this mean right here?
Well,
can you get a shot of that, Bryce?
Let me tell you what happened on the election evening. I had a friend of mine that presented this to me. He made it. He is a silversmith, John Whitfield. John does a lot of design and art, jewelry making as well as sculpturing. And he did it as fun, and I think he spent the entire day making this, laughing himself crazy, of course, presenting it to me, telling me that since the mayors of Europe and the Scandinavian countries all have some type of medallion breastplate, certainly the mayor of Lindsborg can have no less. And so he presented this to me, and I wear it faithfully.
Well, Mr. Mayor, that's beautiful, and I want to thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And hope you enjoy the rest of the parade and your day, all the activities this afternoon, too, and tonight's concert.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you. Okay, Bryce, John.
Thank you, Jerry. Now, the Claflin Middle School Band.
And ahead of the Claflin Middle School Band, directed by Brenda Rohr, director, we did have the visiting Swedish performers. You saw that on the screen. And the visiting Swedish performers were on a float prepared by Turner Photography, Chairman, the Apotec, Lindsborg Community Hospital, Wayne Fredrickson, MD, Bryce Loader, MD, J.L. Gamble, Dr. Veterinary Medicine, Louis LaPierre, the optometrist, and R&N Boiler. The visiting dignitaries did include the Hamrangi Accordion Club, Karasia, and the other performers. I believe Metta Kristofferson was also on that float. The Swedish performers were on that float being prepared by Lindsborg Business Group. And then we had the Port Riley Shrine Club Mini Wheels, Salina Ice's Shrine, and the Claflin Middle School Band, and now the Midway Antique Auto Club. The Midway Antique Auto Club has also been a part of this parade for a number of years. In talking with the co-chairs there, Bill Taylor and Frida Woodard, we once again want to say we do appreciate the coordinating committee's time and effort in putting this together, but also everybody in Lindsborg. I think there are many people going many different directions to put this three-day festival together, and the parade is just one of the events. And as we talked with Mayor Don Anderson, I think we also caught a little bit of a flavor of why Lindsborg may be unique in a partnership of city and retail and manufacturing and education and all of the elements that go together to make up a viable small community of 3,300 population. We're seeing now the Midway Antique Auto Club.
Where is the Midway Antique Club located?
I think it's part of the Salina area, Midway, USA. And then as we see, in addition to the older classic automobiles, we have coming the Ole's Eatery as the next float. Now, Lou, how about that open air car? Is that one that you would like to have? Which will be your pick here?
Oh, I'd like one of the sedans, probably.
You don't want the convertible?
No, I don't think so.
No wonder we have to wear furs. I mean, not much protection from the elements.
No furs today is supposed to be in the 80s again.
Isn't this amazing weather?
Oh, it's beautiful.
And we couldn't have ordered it better for a Svensk Hyllningsfest. Many things we can control in that 2-year preparation, Lou, but weather is not always one of them.
But I think every few years, we've been very lucky in terms of weather.
You know, they say, except for the first Hyllningsfest, 1941, when we had 7 inches of rain, we have been very fortunate. Even when we have special events, such as April 17th, 1976, when His Majesty Carl XVI Gustav came to town. It rained beforehand, but cleared off in time for the event. And most of the time when we have special events, we've been very, very fortunate as far as the weather. Okay, now here is the eatery. This is the float Ole's Eatery, Swedish Country Inn chairman, Melissa Hodges House, the dentist in town, one of the dentists in town, J. Scott Emler, Anderson Hayes Funeral Home, McPherson Concrete Products, Patrick's Tread Guard, the greenhouse, and Auto Wash and KP&L.
Lutzaka, and Glove.
Yes. Would you want that for the eatery? That goes back to the beginning of time. I think that's even pre-Viking time. We see a dinosaur there.
Has Glug been around that long?
I think Glug has been around since forever. Now, what is the backside of that float? A. Bergquist. See? And now, Bergquist. B-U-R-P-Q-U-I-S-T.
View now is the Phantom custom-built car, Terry and Judy Mann of Hudson. Now, I wouldn't mind having that.
There's the one you want. Built by T&M Automotive, South Hutchinson, Kansas. The Phantom, Terry and Judy Mann. That is a stretch car. It has some classic lines like the Cord.
Looks a little bit like the Duesenberg, too.
Phantom. Okay, now we have the Swedish Sandbo Band from Lindsborg, Kansas. That's been a popular band. They oftentimes will jam right on Main Street. Band members are Rosie Carlson, Al Mogensen. Al used to have Al's Dance Shop. Also Thelma Sundberg, Ann Olson. The truck originally was owned by Carlson Brothers. It hauled wheat from fresh machines in the 1930s. The Swedish Sandbo Band. 1929 Model A truck owned by George Larson.
Now, King Oscar Special Blend.
King Oscar coffee was a very popular coffee, and the King Oscar stores were the D&D discount furniture stores right now. King Oscar Special Blend coffee. Oh, the Dollar Horse is moving towards the Lupus Barrel. That would make a special blend. Farm Bureau Insurance Chairman, Swedish Crown Vasa, RK Machines, Smoky Valley Insurance, Coach Works, E&M Construction, Furniture Store, A Touch of Country, and Christine's Corner. King Oscar coffee.
High school band now with Bob director.
Person High School Band. Pleasure to have them as part of Svensk Hyllningsfest. And then Christy Willis, Miss Kansas preteen from Olathe, Kansas. A car owned by Sid and Anita Chartier, Concordia, Kansas. Miss Kansas America preteen, Christy Willis, Olathe, Kansas. And then we have the float, Mary Had a Little Dollar Lamb. The old Suga chairman, Art Shirt, Sherry's Hair Factory, Don's Collectibles, Cliff's Construction, Dennis Shields, Richard Patrick, Bernard Lundquist, Heidi Wash, and the Dollar Mart. Mary Had a Little Dollar Lamb. Once upon a time, Mary had a little dollar lamb. Have you ever...
Fleece is orange.
Fleece is orange. If you got the color, folks. We have dollar horses, and we have a dollar lamb. Is that a one-room schoolhouse? It looks a little bit open air. It's got USD 400 on the back.
Again, we want to thank our sponsors for today's broadcast, American Farmers Association, Anderson Funeral Home, Harlem, and Willie Hayes, Bonnie Bloomberg, and Robert Olmstead. Welcome you for today's parade and for the 3-day festival. The Courtyard Bakery and Lunston Coffee and Gourmet Foods in the Courtyard. They invite you to the Christmas open house Sunday, November 19th from 1 to 5. And the Swedish Country is an authentic Swedish bed and breakfast, featuring private bath, television, and room, and the Scandinavian buffet breakfast. And Hanson Clothing, your quality clothing store, now in their 62nd year of family ownership in downtown Lindsborg, the Lindsborg Pizza Hut, and the Lindsborg News-Record.
Lou, we have found Elmo, the parade clown. You've seen him if you're on cable TV, and here is Elmo. I think he's got all his baggage with him, number of props, and he has orange hair, Lou. The dollar horse orange, it's everywhere. Murray had a little dollar lamb, and Elmo has orange hair.
And now orange. The drone of the bagpipe.
Very fine group. The bagpipe group, of course, is from McPherson, with a number of people around the area that are members of that group. I think the McPherson Bagpipe Band is directed by Ty Kaufman. City of McPherson, that pipe band. There's a little Scottish flavor among the Swedes today. Right. Lonnie Lilligren lives just south of town, about 2 miles, in the front row there. Lonnie Lilligren and the others from the City of McPherson Pipe Band. Another tradition that they oftentimes perform. They don't have rehearsed here in Lindsborg on one of the parking lots. Now we have Rainbow Bread mini cars. We have Roman meal and Rainbow, the bread of iron kids. Then we have, after them, bucket bread. A tea bucket. Okay? The Everhart sounds have been up and down here. Silver Everhart, Shannon Everhart, and Tori Everhart. That view now is the St. John's Military Band. This is Wendy Stein, the director. St. John's Military Band from Salina, Kansas. Looks like Mrs. Wendy Stein has her children with her and the strollers. It's a great day for a parade, John. That's right. St. John's Military Band was one of the units that helped welcome the King of Sweden to the Salina Airport in 1976. Colorful color guard and the band itself from St. John's Military Academy in Salina. And then we have the float Ingrid in Dollarland. Once upon a time, Ingrid in Dollarland. Now there's a white dollar horse. Well, they're orange, they're white, they're all colors. And this float is prepared by Ace Hardware's chairman, and also Burke Auto Repair, First Federal Savings Bank, Pizza Hut, Gamen's Refrigeration and Heating, Alvin Schwartzberger, the chiropractic doctor in town, State Street Cafe, and Swedish Crafts. And 1958, Cushman Eagle Scooter, Jennifer Ward, Fort Supply, Oklahoma. Cushmans, remember when those were the popular two-wheel vehicles? And we have a float, Lindsborg High School, class of 1959, organized by Suzanne Toll. Rolling up the dig again. I'll let you figure that one out. I'm going to have to get some help on that, Lou. Jerry and Diane are on the screen, and they have the King and Queen. All right. Just before we go to them, as we go to them, we'll be having the Dixie Six on the Marquette Fire Department truck, and we always want to have them as part of our parade. A number of people with Lindsborg Kens. There's Dan King also on that parade, the director of Smoky Valley High School. Okay, come in, Jerry, on the sideline.
They just get by here just a little bit. Diane's dancing to the music, obviously, yes. We have Hugo and Dorothy Lindahl, who are the King and Queen of Hyllningsfest. Diane, I'm going to talk to Dorothy about her week, and you can talk to Hugo about the week that they've just had before the parade today, and of course all the other activities. Dorothy, how do you feel?
I feel like a queen.
That's wonderful. I noticed Cecil Carrier, who does the weather on our station, met Dorothy just on the sidewalk a few moments ago and kissed your hand.
You sure did. That's my first kiss on my hand. I've had a lot of kisses, but not on my hand before.
What's it been like as the queen all week long?
Oh, it's been wonderful. Every minute has just been a joy. We've enjoyed every minute.
Now, you started your day this morning at what time?
We started at 8:30 this morning with a breakfast at the Rolander home. And then we got ready for the parade. The parade was at 10 o'clock.
Now, where will you be during the day today? You've got a lot of activities.
Yes, we'll have a luncheon at the Farmer State Bank Community Room. And that'll be at 11:30. There's a football game this afternoon. And then the big concert at Presser Hall tonight, the association.
Do you have a lot of family in this week?
Well, we just have one daughter and her husband are here. And then we have in-laws and cousins. And we have from Colorado, Nebraska, Missouri, and Oklahoma. So So we've had quite a relation gathering, too.
I think that's terrific. Well, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Diane now. She's going to interview Hugo and find out how his week's been going.
Hugo, first of all, I talked a little bit with Dorothy while we were coming over here.
Bill or Jim, do you read me? This is Andy up on the roof.
How you were chosen as the king and queen. Congratulations to you.
We had friends in the community who nominate candidates for king and queen. And so there probably were several people like that nominated us. And then the Hyllningsfest committee made the selection of the reports that came in about the activities. And one of the requirements is that the candidates be of Swedish descent.
Yes. And have you always lived in Lindsborg?
I was born in Dickinson County, but moved here when I was 6 years old when I started school. And that was in 1919. So it's a few years ago.
And Dorothy said you'd been here almost all of your life, too.
Yes.
How did you meet? Tell us a little brief love story.
I worked in the post office, and she worked for Kansas Power, and it was an office going on my way to the bank, and so usually a casual stop in, and we got to have an outing or two and got acquainted. And she's a Swedish background and just fit into our situation real nice.
Well, have a terrific day, and congratulations to you.
So we've been busy since Thursday morning. We were up to the college to tell some of the history of our ancestors, and this began on Thursday morning. Then we had a church service at the church Thursday evening, had an outstanding speaker, and so that was kind of the preliminary to the festival that actually began on Friday.
Well, congratulations to you, and have a terrific day. And thank you very much for talking with us.
Nice.
From everyone to the king and queen to Sander Helga, we've got it all at Hyllningsfest. Thank you.
Thank you again. Back to you, John and Lou.
Thank you, Jerry and Diane.
We did have the McPherson Shrine Club there while we were talking with the King and Queen, Hugo and Dorothy Lindahl. And we had a 1957 Mercury at Linden, Lebo, Kansas, and the Chase County High School Band directed by Roger Drake. Now we have the float Once Upon a Time, A House Fell from the Sky. A house fell from the sky once upon a time. Float number 40. USD 400's chairman, Farmer State Bank, KNEA, Lindsborg News-Record, the Broadway RFD, Lindsborg Arts Council, and the Lindsborg Library are the construction people for this float number 40. Once upon a time, a house fell from the sky. And all of them seem to have good theme relevance. I think they're having fun with this theme, Once Upon a Time.
A lot of creativity in the float, for sure.
What did we do before we had the emergence of the dollar horse as a popular theme there in the mid-1960s? I don't know. There's a dollar horse in about everything that happens now. Even on the back of the house there, a little dollar horse.
Now we want to mention our sponsors again for today's broadcast. Farmers State Bank of Lindsborg, the Anderson Cave Home, the Courtyard Bakery, the Gourmet, Swedish Country, Kansas Clothing, Lindsborg Pizza Hut, Lindsborg News-Record, Martin Hardy, Malta Vision for allowing us to do the cable portion of this news for us this year. We appreciate being able to do commentary for television this year.
An added bonus for those listening on KMGL Radio McPherson. Now the float, the Lutefisk, John Whitfield of Lindsborg, Kansas. John Whitfield is one of our humorous artists that we really enjoy having had returned to Lindsborg, come back to Lindsborg. The Lutefisk Viking. See the Lutefisk there and at the front? John Whitfield, Lindsborg, Kansas, to float the Lutefisk. It's a three-master. And then we'll be having recumbent bicycle, Julie Fisher, bicycle built by John Whitfield. That was that three-wheeler with an outside one. Clown is riding it. Then we have This Is Not Your Father's Oldsmobile, 1903 and 1989 Oldsmobiles, provided by Waddell Cadillac Oldsmobile, Salina, Kansas. Waddell Cadillac Oldsmobile has been a fine booster of the Dusty College football program and many of the programs that. So what have we had here? We got the lady out pushing. This is not your father's automobile, not your father's Oldsmobile. And she's pushing, he's steering. It must be complicated to steer. Is that it? This is not your father's Oldsmobile. Put one in your future. Then we have Littlefoot. Littlefoot, the Pizza Hut.
We want to thank Pizza Hut for being one of our sponsors for today's broadcast.
Pizza Hut presents The Land Before Time.
That's a little bit even before the Pioneer.
Right. We're going way back in history now. And we have one of the floats that doesn't have a dollar horse, number 44. Then we have the Chapman High School Band, Larry Taylor, the director. They have been an honor band, a special band on other past occasions. It's good to have them back. Returning, the Chapman High School Band, Larry Taylor, director, with the Irish theme. We'll hear that music now. Chapman High School Band passes in review. We now have the float Once Upon a Time on a horse Coronadoson came. Coronadoson. There's Coronadoson riding the dollar horse. And this is Anderson Boutique Chairman. Dollarberg Hardware, Hanson Drug, Fantastic Antiquary, The Guild, Paul Crum, and Waddell and Reed, Martin Rubidoux. 29. Then comes the Kingman High School Band, Stuart Workman, director, Kingman High School. We do appreciate these 16 or 17 bands that have come in for the 1989 Svensk Hyllningsfest. It's always good to have them as guests for the parade, for the morning activities here on Saturday, and they are also invited to be guests of Bethany College for the 1989 homecoming game, which will have pregame ceremonies at 1 o'clock, kickoff at 2 at Anderson Field. While the game is going on, there will be other activities down here at the downtown area. The Student Congress tent will close during the game, but the Arts and Crafts 2 tents will be remaining open. Chapman High School Band, directed by Larry Taylor.
One group, local group we didn't mention, was the Common Core, which will be performing right after the parade in the
Common Core, directed by Elmer Copley. Elmer Copley and Ruth Copley, the original director and accompanist. They started that as an inspiration after having visited in Sweden and having seen some of the chamber choirs there in Sweden.
And we're going to be singing Swedish folk tunes and some early American songs.
And you're in that, aren't you, Lou?
Okay.
The Float Gulf Coast Dancers. Dower Welding is the chairman for this, followed by American Family Insurance, Hanson's Clothing, U.S. Post Office, Rolander Agency, Kansas Horsemen, a visiting dance group from Houston area in Texas, the Gulf Coast Dancers. They will be giving some costume style shows at Soderstrom this afternoon also. Gulf Coast Dancers, one of our visiting Swedish American groups.
You now 1921 model Indian hot rod group with the steel gold. I didn't realize there were this many automobiles in the area.
Where do they keep them?
I don't know.
Looks like fun. That's the way to get around. They say that Americans have a love affair with the automobile. I think they were seeing that. And then we'll be having into view here shortly the float colorful characters who wove our valley's history. Hallstatt Construction is the chairman, craft collector, Sheer Delight, Kitchen Shop, the Smoky Valley Rural Electric, Sven and Me, Swisher Firestone, and the City Bakery. For float number 49, colorful characters who wove our valley's history.
Definitely in keeping with the theme of the festival.
Right. Once upon a time, we go back into history, see what has brought us to where we are now. There are a lot of hours, Lou, put into these float constructions. Some are put together at the last minute. That does mean that they have spent a lot of thinking hours deciding on the theme. A lot of different kinds of things. You see the weaving equipment there, and this is part of the tradition of the resurgence in emphasis on folk crafts, and the Elizabeth Lane wearables on Main Street has renewed some of our interest. The Espines and others have also renewed interest in weaving colorful characters who wove our valley's history. And then the Clay Center High School Clay Center. Then we have a 1945 9N Ford tractor. Dale Hoffman, Lindsborg, Kansas, driving that. You remember when that was considered a fairly large tractor? A utilitarian tractor. They get smaller and smaller as the others get bigger and bigger, I think. Very fine workhorse, very versatile tractor. 1945 9N Ford tractor. Followed by antique cars from the Horseless Carriage Auto Club. Tend to be Fords that have been retained through the years. But we've had a number of automobiles that were constructed in backyard shops and some that had limited editions. A lot of handmade automobiles from the early days.
Where is the Horseless Carriage Auto Club? Where are they out of?
You know, that's not on my list here, Lou, and I'm not real sure. We'll have to check that for next time. The Horseless Carriage Club, most of them do have the antique license plates, so we're not able to tell the counties. In many cases from here with the county designation being so small now. Okay, then we have a 1940 Ford two-door sedan, Lester Johnson, Lindsborg. And following the Ford, two Fords and a Chevy, we have the float Soderstrom Strings. Lori Linshield is the director of the Soderstrom Strings. Now, you don't normally think of violins and stringed instruments being parade kind of instruments, but if you listen closely, you can hear that string music as violin, strings, violin and other strings. And that's one reason why we have a strong string program, Lou, for the Oratorial Society Orchestra and for the other interest in strings that starts at an early age. So many times we hope that people don't make the choice between strings and band instruments, and I think that it's good to keep various kinds of musical instrument programs going. The Soderstrom Elementary and Junior High School.
Part of the tradition of Lindsborg is music.
Music of all sorts, that's for sure. Lori Linshield, current director. Then we have the float, the three little pig twists. The three little pig twists. Once upon a time, there were three little pig twists. Float number 53, Malm Construction Chairman, Malm's Smoky Valley Plaza, Peterson Irrigation, Pasco Construction, Columbia Industries, B&L Electric, Century Manufacturing, Smoky Valley Repair. And then we have the next band. Was that Southeast, Lou? That band is not on our list, but it precedes the college section. The college section is part of the homecoming portion of the parade. A very fine partnership in Lindsborg between the Lindsborg community as a whole and the Bethany College community as part of that overall Lindsborg area.
Of course, the Holmquist is part of the homecoming celebration for the college. So for a lot of people, it is kind of reunion.
Many of the graduates and former students say they come back on the odd-numbered biennial years so that they can see the Hyllningsfest. It certainly certainly is a good partnership when we get everything going for this activity once a year, usually in mid-October. Okay, the Bethany College Alumni Association, and we have the college section is led by the president of Bethany College, Dr. Peter J. Risteban and Nina Risteban, the president of Bethany College, and it's a Ford Mustang driven by Cliff Kirshner from McPherson, Kansas. Peter J. Risteban and Nina Risteban, and then the Bethany Student Congress, the officers of the Student Congress.
It's a busy time for the college as well.
That's right. Like everybody else in Lindsborg, we can find 47 things to do every hour, I think. Bethany College Homecoming King and Queen will be coming along here shortly, but first let's Dr. Ms. Peter J. Risteban, the Student Congress representatives, Paula Gordley is president, executive officers Paula Gordley, Shannon Rothschild, Monica Bender, and Steve Pogue. Student Activities Board here, Jen Paul, Michelle Hansen, Guy Booth, Jeff Hayes, Mike Cochran, Cammie Davis, Melissa Von Pelt, Cindy Baldwin, and Ann Hartshorn. Student Activities Board, and they put together the party last night as a variety show, 7:30 in Presser Hall, and then, of course, had the crowning of the King and Queen for Lindsborg's homecoming. Scott Gentine, Shannon Rothschild, Kevin Matterly, John T. Middleton, Kevin Armstrong, Jay Knutson, Stuart Daniels, Chuck Peters, Sean Cherico, and Mike Conley. We wish them luck this afternoon at 2 o'clock for the homecoming game. The homecoming King and Queen for Bethany College. And, of course, the King is Chuck Peters from Hayes, Kansas. The Queen is Jerry Walter from Beloit, Kansas. First attendant, Michael Gainey, Center Hill, Florida, and Kathy Longmore from Emporia, Kansas. And the second attendant, Nate Berheim from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Joanna Fleiss from Claflin, Kansas. If we have time, we'll name the other candidates. Alumni Council, Bethany College. Here we come with Roger Meyer, Peggy Rasmussen, Kathy Simmelink, Jim Rubel, that is misprint here, Lori Johnson, and Mark Houghton. Bethany College Alumni Association. The car is driven by Roger Meyer. And then we have Once Upon a Time, the Bethany College Parents Association. The students writing letters to parents. They want money, they want food, they want laundry and soap. Dear Mom and Dad, all names. Once Upon a Time. Blue Dozen, directed by J. Allen Williams. With the BC Dance Team. The BC Dance Team and the Blue Dozen, popular pep band at Bethany College. Formed for all home football games and basketball games. BC Dance Team, Amy Heimbichner is the captain for the dance team. Then we have the Float the Myth, a Southwestern victory, Pan-Hellenic Council. The Myth, a Southwestern victory. Once upon a time, Southwestern had a chance to be at BC. That was only a Greek myth. Pan-Hellenic Council for the fraternities and sororities at Bethany College. They have time 0-0-0, fourth quarter. Bethany College is defeating Southwestern according to that float. Routine with lawn chairs. Then we have Mow Over the Jinx, Warner Hall. Please mow over Southwestern's Jinx. They are known the Jinx, for the Southwestern College. The first Smoky Valley Pioneers, the Biochem Club. They're mowing over Sterling, they're mowing over McPherson, they're mowing over Friends, they're mowing over Bethel. Okay, now we have the Terrible Swede rides again, Pi Sigma Chi. Pi Sigma Chi fraternity, one of 3 fraternities on the campus at Bethany College. And then are in the visual part, but the float is seen from Bethany's Pass, sophomore class. A scene from Bethany's Pass, sophomore class. We have Coronado Heights, you see it on top. The community. Looks like some of the buildings have had a little windstorm. Yeah. The Truckovarks from Calmer Hall, one of the residence halls at Bethany College. The Truckovarks. I think some of these students are emulating the Shriners Blue. And then we have the float Then and Now, Gregory Hall, Once Upon a Time. You've come a long way, baby. Hannah Marm Hall, History of Women at Bethany College, which follows Now and Then from Gregory Hall. Now and Then, the older ones on up to the present, with the maple, iced on. You've come a long way, baby. Hannah Marm Hall, the History of Women at Bethany College. 1892, the first woman graduate. 1940, 33 women graduates. 1990, 73 women college graduates. You've come a long way, baby. Swedish Logarithms, the Von Neumann Club. Swedish Logarithms. Von Neumann Club, which is the computer science and math, physics students at Bethany College. Math and Computer Science Club. Swedish Logarithms, spelled L-O-G-A-R-I-T-H-M. Logarithms, and they're sitting on the logs. Okay.
Very clever. I want to mention our sponsors again for today's broadcast, John. They are the Farmers State Bank of Lindsborg, your full-service bank serving the Great Smoky Valley and its residents for over 100 years, member FDIC. And the people at Anderson Hayes Funeral Home, Harlan Willie Hayes, Bonnie Bloomberg, and Rose Holstead. Welcome to Lindsborg and to the Svensk Hyllningsfest. Courtyard Bakery and Luncheon Coffee and Gourmet Food at 125 North Main Lindsborg in the courtyard. They invite you to their Christmas open house on Sunday, November 19th from 1 to 5. It seems early to think about Christmas, but that is coming up. That is November 19th. And the Swedish Country Inn, another of our sponsors. They are an authentic Swedish breakfast featuring private bath and television in every room and a standard buffet breakfast. And Hanson Clothing, their quality clothing store now in their 62nd year of family ownership on the Lindsborg Main Street. And the Lindsborg Pizza Hut for great pizza eating. Check out the Pizza Hut and delivery service. And the Lindsborg News-Record dedicated to encouraging cultural growth in the Smoky Valley area. We do want to thank them for our panoramic view here on the second floor
This is a tremendous view up here.
The News-Record Plaza.
We didn't know we had a second floor at the News-Record, did we? Okay, the parade is not over yet. We still have remaining floats after the college section. That concluded the college section of the Homecoming and Svensk Hyllningsfest parade. We'll also be having the float Breaking the Soil coming on down after we see St. John's High School Band. St. John's High School Band with Bill Klausing as the director. Bill Klausing is the director. St. John's High School Band. The bands do add a lot to this, Bill. Lou, I think that as Bill Klausing comes into view here, we should recognize all of the directors and those who have put this together.
Got the guy here. I hope you can take credit for today's weather. Cecil Carrier, who's on KNGL, KVBE every day, everybody. And this is the gentleman that brings the weather to us.
You know, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take the credit for the weather today if you won't blame me for the blizzards in January. Isn't this a beautiful day, though?
Unbelievable.
I'll tell you, the sun isn't just real hot. Not too much wind. Temperature's about perfect. I would like to take credit for it. And isn't this something else?
John, you're a wit. Oh, you can't hear me. John can't hear me up there, but tell John that Cecil is responsible for the good weather here today, Lou.
If Cecil is responsible, weather. If Cecil's responsible for the good weather, we'll give him all of the credit that he wants.
John said he's going to give you all the credit that you want.
We may blame you in January.
Lou's going to blame you in January.
I figured that would come up.
We're going to go back to the parade with John, Lou, and Bryce LeGrand.
We have enjoyed having Cecil Carrier as a parent with his daughter, alumna of Bethany College, and we certainly appreciate his forecasts for the weather on KNGL and KBBE. St. John's High School Band, Bill Plowsey, director. And then the float behind the St. John's High School Band, Bill Plowsey, director, we have Breaking the Soil, the float, number 54. Cosberg Gallery is the chairman. R&R Excavating, Peterson Oil, Chuck Wagon Restaurant, Larson Electric, Kitchen Post Studio, Tom Brown Construction, and Bell Telephone. Float number 54, Breaking the Soil. And it looks like we have a John Deere tractor influence here. But it is a workhorse from years gone by. Breaking the soil, took 8 acres a day. Abilene High School Band, Tom Miles, director of Abilene. Tractor from 1931. You can see how they've improved as they get newer. Antique. An A, a G, the gas powered, and a 1929 D. They have a distinctive sound, don't they, those John Deeres? One-lungers.
Celebrate agriculture today.
Lindsborg and this whole area has been dependent upon agriculture and the other parts of the economic environment, education and industry and retail, but agriculture has been hard for this area. A farm hall, Farming Dairy and Farm Hall. There's the Ewald family. They spent a lot of hours restoring these tractors and getting them ready for the biennial Svensk Hyllningsfest parade. These are located right here in Lindsborg. Remember when those were something special, is the fight between the horse and the tractors would win. You forget that when you see these big monsters now these days. Time when this was really part of the revolution in agriculture. And then the Horse and Buggy by Conrad Swenson will be coming along after John Deere, the final one, John Deere gas-powered tractor 1931, bringing up the last part of the antique tractor section, and Conrad Swenson, horse and buggy. Now there is a beautiful horse with the flower blaze and rubber-tired carriage. Conrad Swenson, horse and buggy. Then the Marquette Saddle Club. Towards the end of the parade here, Marquette Saddle Club from Marquette, Kansas, part of the Smoky Valley, northern McPherson County. And Lou, you see this last float here? Yes, I do. A coffin driven by Virgil Peel. And it is the end. A fitting ending for a parade. Okay, it's coming into view here in just a minute for those watching on cable. Here we go. The coffin driven by Virgil Peel. How do you like those headlights out there? Oh, those charming headlights. With the nail car on the last, and there are our parade co-chairs, Bill Brock and Jim Berg as our parade co-chairs, bringing up the conclusion of the parade. An L car. That's our 1989 Svensk Hyllningsfest and Homecoming Parade. I think, Lou, that this has been an advantageous part for us to see on top of the Lindsborg News-Record building, but I know that there have been thousands of people along the parade route from the corner of Swenson and Main Street, coming down Main Street here, the brick, sometimes people call it cobblestone, but it's really Brick Street, and it is part of the parade that is a very colorful time, I think, in Svensk Hyllningsfest. We've talked about a number of the activities that have been. We know there's more to come, but certainly the parade is one of the favorites for many, many people.
Well, as you mentioned, there are a number of activities throughout this afternoon. The association concerts tonight. Plus, a lot of people might not realize that Hyllningsfest continues through tomorrow, and closing ceremonies, I believe, are at 6 o'clock.
That's when it will conclude. I mean, it is starting at 12 noon, and the closing ceremonies will be around 4 to 4:30, and I think that we should really think that there's more to come at this point. The pre-parade flyover, by the way, Lou, was McPherson County Civil Air Patrol. And now we'll go down to Diane Davies and Jerry Davies on Main Street as the people are getting back into the street area here, setting up for the afternoon activities.
John, and I just want to give our very, very much appreciation to you and to Lou Keith for the fine job that you've done today, calling the parade and the last Hyllningsfest, and, well, I guess many years that you've been doing it. We certainly appreciate having you on KNGL, KBBE, and the fine job that you do, and our very best to you and Carol for the great work. And, Lou, you did a super job today.
Thank you, Jerry, and I would also like to thank John for his excellent help.
As always.
You're too kind, Lou. We appreciate the opportunity. It gives us an advantageous place here to see what's happening on the parade route. I hope that other people listening throughout the KNGL area, and also we'll be hearing KBB football this afternoon, and we hope that they'll take part by audio if they can't see it in person.
Okay, Diane, anything you want to add to the parade? What is a great one?
Oh, it certainly was, Jerry, but I would like to thank a couple of other guys, technicians for us, who've done a terrific job. Bryce, thanks a million. Who, he says, who, me? Bryce LeGrand and Eric Potter, thanks a million for being with us this morning, guys. It's truly been an honor for Jerry and I to represent KNGL and KBBE. Also, Bryce LeGrand and, of course, Lou and John.
And Craig from the cable television store here. I'm sorry I don't have Craig's last name handy, but he did a super job in getting us prepared to get on the air and getting all those cables untangled and plugged into the right places. He did a super job. And to Marty Hardy of the Lindsborg News-Record for loaning us the facilities, and also to Barbo's Printing next door to the News-Record for allowing us to plug into their telephones today so that we could bring you this broadcast. So to everyone, thank you very, very much. Okay, I think we'll go back?
You know, Jerry, they just made the announcement at the grandstand. Would anyone hold up their hands or come to the grandstand if they had any questions about where they could get something to eat? And no one showed up. Plenty of good food. Man, I am hitting the cinnamon rolls fast right here, I gotta tell you.
Diane, you know, that has been a problem in the past. Many people have said there wasn't enough to eat, and so I think they have always tried to make a critique. As you make a critique to find out what the problem was of a previous Hyllningsfest, will be better next time. That's why we have the food court with those dozens and dozens of food places where you can find something to eat.
Okay, well, we're not going to have any problem finding some food, and we invite everyone that isn't in Kansas on a highway today. I think they are all here, but if there's a few of you that got away, come on to Lindsborg. You can see, if you're looking at the cable or if you're listening to radio, you can hear the fantastic crowd that's here, and they will be here all day. Okay, that's it from down on the street, and the parade is over. We'll go back to you, Lou and John, for closing remarks.
Okay, thank you, Jerry and Diane, and my thanks to be able to do this, and John, thank you very much.
Let's do it again sometime. Should we run through the schedule one more time? Do we have a chance? I'm not sure of our time parameters, but I think we should tell everybody there's more to come as we think for Svensk Hyllningsfest 1989 is not over yet. We have a number of other events as we will think through the schedule. Here at noon, we'll be having the El Dorado High School Band performing at Swenson Park on North Main Street. And I think that just before, on your way, you can stop off at Lincoln and Main and see the Dixieland 6 Band, which will also be performing. Lectures.
Always a fun group.
Fun group. They enjoy jazz. They make jazz really listenable.
Right.
The lectures on trolls will be by Kirsten Brorson, and on the keyed fiddle by Bart Bashir. They'll be in the USD 400 building, which is just half a block south of where we are located here at Lincoln and Main. It's the USD 400 administrative unit, and that is an area where we'll be having an enclosed section. We do ask people to wear their support button for that. It's right next to one of the arts and crafts tents on the corner of the Brunswick lot on Grant and Main Street. The Svensk folk dancers, the Soderstrom Elementary School dance schemes, will be grades 1 through 6 in the junior high, and the Maypole dancers, Julie Alney and Jay Steinberg, Rachel Carlson are the directors. That's all at Main and Lincoln. That'll be coming up here in this area close to at hand. And then if you want to go on up to Swenson Park, you can have some more music. As we said, the El Dorado High School Band at 12 noon. Comicore will be performing at Main and Lincoln at 12:30, directed by Elmer Copley. There'll be some video productions from the public television broadcast of the Viking series, and I think people enjoy those 30-minute programs. Also, we're adding to that the new Sweden 88 productions, and there was one that was produced last year by the Wichita Radio Reading Service in Wichita. It's on Olaf Olsson, the pioneer pastor for the Smoky Valley who came from Sunnemo Parish in Värmland, Sweden, and that special 23-minute production was researched by the Wichita Radio Reading Service with help from Dr. Emery Lindquist, so it's a very authentic production. That will be also tomorrow. Swedish food demonstrations, the Swedish pancakes, the mayor, Don Anderson, Jeanette Schugen, will be showing you how to make Swedish pancakes, and that will be at the Smoky Valley Rural Electric Cooperative Building, also at 12:30. Horacio, the accordion club from Sweden, the Swedish fashion show at 1 o'clock, the Dixieland 6 Band, the Lindsborg Folk Dance Log, the adult dancers, Swedish folk demonstrations again at the REA building at 1:30. At 2 o'clock, the Swedish folk dancers when we begin the Bethany College homecoming football game at 2 o'clock. There will be 3 Alumni Athlete Awards of Merit presented along with BC dance team and other pregame activities at 1 o'clock. That's at 1 o'clock prior to that kickoff at 2. The 2:30 City of McPherson Pipe Band downtown here while the game is going on up there at the football field. Swedish food demonstrations continue. Weaving demonstration by Beth Walker and Elizabeth Lillane at the Elizabeth Lillane Wearables on North Main Street, half a block north of Lincoln and Main here in the downtown area. Then we'll also be having more music in the downtown area, Dixieland 6 again at 4 o'clock. There'll be a Bethany Coffee Hour. They're calling it the 5th quarter in Stroll Gibson, and that's for everyone. It's sponsored by the Bethany College Alumni Association, but it's for everyone who wants to come, whether you're partisan for Bethany or not. Come on and enjoy the coffee hour, 5th quarter after the game in the Stroll Gibson Center on the campus of Bethany College. Then downtown here we'll have Randy and Gretchen Norland this afternoon, and don't forget the association tonight at 8 o'clock. Tickets are still available. Should we run through tomorrow's events too, just in case there's someone who will stay around for 2 events, 2 days? Tomorrow at 12 noon, the video presentations again, and then there'll be the arts and crafts tents opening at 1 o'clock, closing at 5. Dixieland 6 band, lectures on the trolls again at 1 o'clock. Carrasco will be here at Main and Lincoln at 2 o'clock, and then we'll be having reception for the King and Queen all afternoon, beginning at 2 o'clock in the Farmer State Bank Community Room. Randy Getcher, Russian Norland, the Vaudevillian Clown will be at 3 o'clock, the Hammerangi Accordion Club at 3:30, the Comic Corps at 4 o'clock. The grand closing begins at 4:30. Grand closing, what better way to have some community Vesper service, Comic Corps, music, Swedish folk dancers, a little change of pace as we close down the 1989 Svensk Hyllningsfest tomorrow afternoon between 4:30 and 6 here in the downtown area at Main and Lincoln.
Okay, John. Lots of events and activities for everybody as we celebrate Pioneer history and also what's happening now.
And I think that we have to recognize that Lindsborg is at its finest, I think, as it rolls out the red carpet to have other people come in and enjoy our heritage. It's not a closed heritage, not just for our roots, not just for what we have, but we hope people will partake of this as part of their Kansas and Central United States heritage also.
So on behalf of Jerry and Diane Davies, John Pearson, and myself, Lou Keith, G'dah, everybody.
G'dah.
FM 96.7, 101.7 KBPE, McPherson, Salina.